on, you guys could do better than that. Okay, now for our main presentation. I'm so excited. You know, I love being the president of the Brea Chamber. We have so many amazing businesses here in Brea. But this business and this person that's going to speak today, when I think they're part of the chamber, I just go, yes. It's so awesome because they're a brand icon, and I'm super proud, and I know a lot of you are, that they're here in Brea. So let me introduce our speaker, Peter Frommer with Dr. Squatch. Peter's the Senior Director of People and Operations and Risk at Dr. Squatch, where he leads workforce strategy at their Brea manufacturing facility, as well as global people strategic initiatives. He holds a Master's of Science in Human Resources Management and is certified domestically and globally with 8 SPHR, SHRM CP, and GPHR credentials. With a strong background in operations leadership and HR compliance, Peter has built high-performing teams without relying on pre-hire background checks. His commitment to culture, accountability, and second chance employment is backed by both lived experience and measurable results. Will you please help me welcome Peter Frommer?
No pressure at all after that. So thank you, Lacey, and the entire chamber here. We not sure we'd be where we are if it weren't for Lacey and her team definitely helping us out through our growth. We opened here in June of 2022 with just 1 production line of soap. We now have 6 production lines of soap, as well as deodorant and beard oil. So we've expanded quite a bit into and pretty much taken up the whole 100,000 square foot facility we have here in Brea. So I did have a couple of questions that came to me when I first walked in, and I wasn't going to cover it, but everyone's interested in the roots of Dr. Squatch, so I'll give you a quick background there. The company was founded by Jack Haldrup, and basically out of his garage. He had skin issues, psoriasis, eczema, and he was looking for a soap that is that he's able to. Sydney will not be joining us. But if you do want some of her soap, they're about $200 or $300 a bar now on eBay. So, but you guys have plenty on your tables over there. So Jack decided to develop this cold press soap that you have in front of you, and pretty much to this day, that was 10 years ago, it's pretty much the same process, which is oils, palm oil, olive oil, coconut oil, and it's a cold press process, meaning as opposed to regular soaps, which are chemicals and detergents blended together, heated up, and put into molds. This is more of a cold press process, meaning it's never heated, and it's natural, as you can see in front of you. If you have more questions about the origin story, let me know, and we can open it up to a bunch of questions if you have any. I don't like speeches. I don't like giving them. I don't like listening to them. So this is going to be more conversational, and go from there. And if you have any questions at the end, let me know. So, second chance. Our facility, actually company-wide, except for a couple of fiduciary roles, we don't do background checks, we don't do drug tests, and we never have. So at the Brea location here, we have, depending on demand, we have anywhere from a couple hundred people to 400 or 500 people working at that facility, ups and downs, depending on demand, obviously. During that whole time, we have offered the Second Chance program, basically allowing anyone who applies, goes through an interview process, goes through a tour of the facility to have an opportunity. One thing we do is we partner with a very strong, and actually a couple staffing agencies in the area. Great Hire happens to be one of them, little plug over here. And what we do is we take the employees or the candidates that they bring in, we interview them, we show them around. We actually no longer hire production workers directly. So we use an agency, and that's kind of like the test. Show us what you can do, how you perform, and everyone's very anxious to show us how they can do. And the goal is what we call converting them. So that would be from a temp, an agency employee, to a full-time squatcher, as we call it. And the squatchers have quite a number of benefits. We have great healthcare. We pay for almost 80%. So basically our employees are left only $50 to $60 per month for their healthcare costs. We have obviously the 6 sick days per year that California offers. We have an additional, I think it's at 9 right now, paid holidays, and we have 6 days of PTO. So you're basically looking at an entire month of paid time off. And a couple of other perks, free soap and things like that, which is actually available to the agency employees as well. A lot of companies come to us and ask, well, that's a lot of days off. 20 days off, you're paying that, it's a lot of money, it's 1/12 of the year. And basically we turn around and say, let's say the average person is $4,000 a month. So we're giving them an extra $4,000. Well, how much training time is lost when you're hiring people and then have to turn them over? How much money are you spending on recruiting agencies that to bring them in? So the cost is actually pretty quickly recovered there. The other thing is we have, to prove this works, for the last several years, specifically the last 2 years, our average attendance rate is 95%. So we have a very high level of attendance. Those employees cannot be converted to full-time Squatchers unless they hit 92% attendance and have no write-ups or corrective actions within 90 days. So we're very, very strict. So we are second chance, but at the same time, we definitely hold people accountable and very, very much a zero tolerance location for several things. So zero tolerance for weapons, zero tolerance for drug use, zero tolerance for alcohol. And that includes just possession. It's just zero. We take sexual harassment claims very seriously, harassment claims very seriously. I know this is kind of sounds silly. We don't allow bad language because it's not, people have to understand that harassment isn't just of the person you're calling out or saying, it's if anyone's listening in, if anyone's offended by something that's being said. So one of our highest scores for a great place to work was actually equity and equality and a environment that is just conducive to what I like saying is that we don't really motivate people so much as creating an environment that's conducive to productivity. So at our location, we have a very strict EHS security safety policy, but at the same time, we open that up to employees and their opinions, their thoughts, anything that they want to share. We do take it seriously. I know a lot of companies say things like, if you see it, let us know. If you hear it, we actually not only listen, we reward it. So there are little safety cards that we give out that people can have little prizes. We recognize them on the TVs. We do a lot for employee rewards and recognition programs. So it's not just come on in and do what you want. One other very important factor is you walk into a business and you see things posted on the wall, paperwork, things are messy. If you have a lobby, if you have a floor, if you have an environment that employees are walking into and they see that, that's their mindset. Okay, so it's okay if they're doing it, then we can be the same. Notice that when you walk into a hospital, front lobby, there are no papers posted all over the walls. You have a sense that, okay, this is a safe place. This is going to take care of me. We have the exact same thing at Dr. Squatch. So by the way, any one of you are welcome to a tour. Lacey can help with the arrangement of it, but we don't have stuff stuck to the walls. We have a very clean lobby. All the carpets are constantly clean. The floor, the production floor is constantly clean. So when you walk into that, like I said, we're creating a conducive environment to productivity. And that just naturally brings out productivity in our employees. Does that mean that there's no bad seeds? There definitely are bad seeds. But the way I look at it is that is such a small fraction that it has not impeded any of our operations. And we've done very well continuing to grow following the same policy. It's one of our core value. It's not a specific core value, but it is an instrumental part of our operations that we look beyond whatever the past is, and we are judging, but we're judging based on current actions and what people are able to perform. One of the major reasons or the items that lead to recidivism for past the those incarcerated is not being able to have an opportunity. So they're not excusing it, but they resort back to the way things were. So we give that opportunity. I was actually speaking to the owner of a large construction company yesterday, and he says he actually goes to the halfway houses, and halfway houses are where those incarcerated just come out, and that's basically to get adjusted back into society. He goes there and he gets his flag carriers, as he calls them, and other people from the halfway houses, and gives them an opportunity. He hires several hundred people a year. He says 1 out of 50 is a bad seed. So
Wow.
2%. And that is exactly what we see as well. That I think we have great opportunities. We do know several people who have had past issues. We have had people who have been arrested, and they're among our top performers because we give them that opportunity. It's a very, very high level of respect in the location. Condescension, anything like that is just not tolerated. So I think this just brings about a environment where people want to work. Like I said, we not necessarily motivation, although we do what we do, but it's more creating an environment where people want to work.
Yeah. Sounds like you guys have done a great job with that. It sounds like you have a really strong, healthy culture.
We do.
So I used to work in recruitment, and I know from statistics that the churn rate for an employee that's not sourced that way is actually much higher than 2%. I'm curious, you sound like you've been in the industry for quite a while, specifically HR. How does churn rate with employees differ from Dr. Squatch versus your previous employers?
I don't think I've ever been at a company where involuntary terms of hourly are below or around 15%. I don't think that's heard of. Nor have I ever heard of a company with 95% attendance on manufacturing employees. I'm not saying it's not out there. I don't know numbers of private companies, but from my past experience, including working with global transportation companies, it's unheard of.
What's the average age of your employees?
In production, I'd say between 20 and 35. Jason, do you have an estimate?
I think that's about right.
Yeah,
I would
20.
say it skews a little younger.
I would say skewing a little bit younger, but definitely around there. But it goes up. We have 45, 55, 60-year-old people on the floor.
Well, quick testimonial. At my house, we've been using this soap for several years now. One of my kids has eczema, and it's one of the only soaps that doesn't, exacerbate the eczema.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys make a great product.
Thank you.
My just curiosity is, do you guys sell more of the bars or the liquid soap?
The liquid soap is brand new.
Okay.
That is relatively new. So the soap.
Yeah, got it.
The soap. Yeah. You're referring to the hand wash.
Yeah, the one that she's like any sort of.
Yes.
I
These are
prefer the
newer.
bar type of things, but I was just curious if
Yeah.
that's like a big seller. But obviously, it's brand new.
It is definitely a big seller. It's just it doesn't compare to bars just yet.
How many locations do you have?
Manufacturing, we have one location here in Brea. We use co-manufacturers for the rest of our production, and we have a location in New York and a location in Marina Del Rey, but those are offices. Our New York location is our women's line called Jukebox, and our Marina Del Rey office is our headquarters.
I want to do a shout out. I ran out of deodorant. My son had a couple of deodorants in his bedroom. I stole it. Love it. Just saying. And also, how old do they have to be to apply? What age?
18.
18?
Yeah.
Okay.
I honestly, I don't even know if we've had anyone under 18 apply. I don't think we specifically have an age requirement. Good question, but I don't think we've turned away anyone who's applied. If they're younger, they just have to have, at a certain point, they have school permission. But above that, I don't think we've ever had anyone who's come in too young that I can think of, at least not in the last 3 years that I can recall.
And then can they apply online, or do they go through, does the website lead them to the agency?
Generally, if we do have a lot of walk-ins and we refer them to the agency partners that we have, they have online applications and we refer them there. That's primarily production workers. We do have other departments and other areas and higher level supervisors, managers, those we do hire directly. Although we have had people convert from agency to Squatcher to lead and on up. So there is a possibility to advance.
Peter? One of the things that Peter mentioned was doing a tour over there. So
Yeah.
I got the privilege of going on a tour right as they were embarking on their first expansion. And you were showing me a quiet room that you have, and then they have this beautiful break room. I mean, it reminded me of some of the things you hear about Google doing, and that creates this really great environment. But could you just share how that plays into the success of your team?
Sure.
And what is the quiet room for?
Sure. We actually have two quiet rooms. One is for EHS. So EHS is environmental health and safety. So if somebody has an issue that they want to discuss or personally talk about, then there's a quiet room for them. The other quiet room is some people just need a break. They just need time to themselves. They need a few minutes. It doubles as our lactation room, which is a nice relaxing environment, room, lighting, couch, and items like that. As far as the break room, we do have a very large break room, which is arcades, pool table. We have vending machines. We subsidize the vending machine, so they're not paying $3 for a Coke. And we, free coffee. We like people with coffee. And we do have, water stations throughout the whole facility. And we do really focus on an environment that is healthy and happy. We've redone our AC systems in order to make sure the air is specifically focused on people, where people are. OSHA does have requirements, but we were way ahead of the curve there on temperature. So we rarely hit above 80 degrees on the floor, and most of the time it's somewhere between 69 and 70 something.
One follow-on question to that too, that I remember from my tour is that you guys really focus on people's individual disposition in terms of where they belong in the process. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. We actually we have a couple of areas on the floor. So we have sanitation, we have cutting, soap making, and packaging, in addition to deodorant and beard oil. Most people who come in kind of have a preference. We try to go along with their preference as much as possible. Although everyone who is hired, we tend to want to cross-train as much as possible so that if somebody's out, another person can go in to that position. Also, we're really big on avoiding any sort of injuries, physical injury, repetitive stress. So like, for example, on the packaging station, if there's 18 positions, those people rotate. So they're not, the person who's putting the soap in that box is not going to be sitting there for more than 2 hours. So they're going to be rotated through to another position. So they're cross-trained on how to do that, how to do that, how to do that. And some people are cross-trained between packaging and soap making. Some are packaging and cutting. So we do a lot of cross-training. For the most part, the employees don't get to pick, but we do listen.
Going through this experience of hiring, do you have any takeaways thus far or thoughts on like justice, legal system reform or restorative justice? I know it's been a hot topic for a long time.
Specifically with the employees who are second chance employees, or specifically in what sense?
No, I was asking a little bit more broadly,
Okay.
based on any takeaways from having employed so many folks that have to kind of withstand that.
California is very tough. It's a very difficult state to work in. Not that it's pro-employee against employer, but there's a lot of rules, there's a lot of regulations, and January 1st, we had a bunch more. I guess nothing's impeded us. To answer your question most directly, it does mean that we have new rules. It does mean we have new regulations. ADA rules come out, pregnancy-related rules and regulations come out. Certain DEI-related items come out. But I can't say that anything that has come out has impacted us negatively, other than maybe having to dot our I's, cross our T's on certain items, or keep records a little bit in a little bit more detailed fashion. We have, our disciplinary policy has always been the same. So we don't go straight to termination unless it's very warranted. So we do counseling, then a written verbal, then a written full, then a final, then a termination, unless it's excessive. So if the person caused a dangerous situation to happen, or horseplay that could have led to bodily harm, a fight, possession, those are immediate termination following an investigation. But everyone else has an opportunity. Our attendance system is point-based, so everyone knows where they are at any time. So if you failed to call out, if you showed up late, if you have unexcused absences, all of those are tracked against points, and your write-ups are correlated to what those points are. So it seems very rigid, but at all times, everyone knows where they are. We don't allow people to clock in early unless they're actually working early. But if you show up early, go to the break room, go play pool. But if you're supposed to be there at 6, that's when you clock in. And we're very, very strict when it comes to those type of things. Not everyone likes being a rule follower, but most people do.
Hi, my name is Marissa from Corona Chamber, and thank you for having me. I wanted to say that somebody once upon a time gave me a second chance. So with these men that you're helping get jobs, as a man, not that I'm a man, but I'm just saying, for them to have that leadership or put bread back on the table for their children, you're restoring a lot of families. So I think that's wonderful.
Thank you.
I think that that's what we need, is to know we're not a cookie cutter, and there's just so much to life to learn. So thank you for what you guys do.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Don't explain what an employee net promoter score is, because it'd be here all day, but I would wager to say that you guys have pretty high internal net promoter score from your employees.
We do. I don't know the number offhand. It used to be my division under engagement. Now I took a lot more other divisions, so I don't know the number offhand, but it is it's pretty good.
The question I have is, how does it compare to your previous roles?
Oh, it's higher than any other place I've been. Yeah. This company has allowed me the autonomy to work with workforce management, work with operations, work with other divisions to get to this. Not every big company. This is kind of in that sweet spot where you can still change. You could take detours and fix things. When you're bigger, it's a little harder. So
To translate for anyone that's not HR, that means these people are happy.
thank you.
Peter, if there was an employer that wanted to go in this direction, what are the risks and what are like the key, you have to do this and you have to do this to make it successful?
There is a risk, and my feeling is the risk comes when you do not have an environment that is structured. So I think before anyone takes us on, they have to go through the motions of what are you going to do if this happens? What are you doing to enforce it? We're not a prison, but we have asset protection in the front lobby. They do walks every 45 minutes. We have 64 cameras at the facility. We're incorporating AI to watch over safety and make sure people are wearing their PPE and we're watching for ergonomics. So there's a lot that needs to go into it. We do have the occasional false claim, I slipped. And you want the cameras. You want to see what happened. You want the background. If it was preventable, was it fake? It doesn't happen often, but it happens often enough where you want to monitor for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say systems, having those systems in place is probably the most crucial. And then recognizing and realizing that we don't treat the second chance people any differently than a temp agency employee versus a squatcher. So your systems have to be in place that work for everybody.
Mm-hmm. And you must be a big advocate of the temp first before you become a squatcher. That's a model that I think certain companies have explored before, but it's sort of like you're able to know
Yes.
before you hire them on if they're really going to have that potential.
Yeah.
Do you think that's integral to it?
I think it is. I think that we have to train either one, so you're going to have to go through the training, but it's almost like the employee has to put their best foot forward, and you get to see what they can perform. Yeah, we've converted and hasn't worked out the day after conversion. It does happen, but for the most part, like I said, I think we have don't quote me exactly, but I think we have a 15% involuntary term rate, and I think we owe it to those type of partnerships and bringing in those people. We also don't allow direct sends, and for recruiting terms, that means the recruiting agency just sends the bodies and you put them on the floor and they start working, we don't do direct sends. So if I'm going to advise anything, like that's number one, no direct sends for a new manufacturing environment. I think agencies actually prefer it that way because then they're not spinning their wheels, sending a bunch of people to you that they onboard and get ready to send your way, only to have them walked off a week later or 2 weeks later. So they, I'm not sure, maybe Ali would know better, but I think every employee that comes in has to get interviewed. They also meet with every supervisor. And so every supervisor has an opportunity to speak with them as well. And they don't have to be, they don't have to have previous experience specifically on any piece of equipment or anything like that.
Does the temp agency do background checks?
They will if we ask, but we don't require it for our employees, but they can. We do have obviously higher level positions with fiduciary responsibilities and things like that where we owe it to our stakeholders to ensure that those people are free of backgrounds. But and just so we're clear, like drug use on the facility is not permitted. But if you come in smelling like something or eyes are red or you cause something, we will test you. We will send you out for testing. So, but we need probable cause. We're not just going to do it willy-nilly, but we will send you out. And if you test positive, which is unfortunate because you may have done something a week ago, but if you're acting erratic and have issues, then yeah. So.
I'll round out with one last question because we're at time. The way that you're talking leads me to believe you may or may not have the same problem a lot of other employers are having, which is kind of some of the younger generations have a broad swath of people who are really sensitive to any kind of feedback.
Mm-hmm.
I just talked to an employer yesterday who was giving some constructive feedback to someone and they told her they were used to positive feedback, so they quit. I'm just guessing maybe you don't deal with that, or do you? How is the feedback loop in your model?
So our structure is that we have a plant director. Below the plant director, you have managers. Below managers, you have supervisors. So the feedback chain just goes down one level at a time. Employees are regularly given feedback. They're also regularly given performance metrics. They're posted on the TVs. So pretty much everyone should know where they're at. We also do performance reviews, which is kind of rare for manufacturing employees. So everyone knows where they stand at any time. The other thing, I'm not sure if other companies do, I know I haven't done it previously, we give out quarterly bonuses. And the quarterly bonuses are contingent on company performance plus your own. So we do use safety figures, we do use attendance figures, we do use yield, quality, a lot of figures go into it, so everyone has the ability to earn a pretty nice bonus on a quarterly basis, including agency employees actually. It just happens to be more for Squatchers.
So it's embedded in your culture. Yeah. Can we give Peter a big hand?